Let's go racing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome live to Brooklyn, Michigan for the MRL Monday Night Mayhem. You are live here with our Cup Series, and it's playoff time. I'm Mean Gene Money, and I've got my tag team partner, Zach Panzarella, here in the booth as we are about to bring you the round of 8. It's race number 1 in the 3-race round of 8, and we are at Michigan International Speedway, 2 miles, D-shaped oval super speedway, 18-degree banking. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be slick. Zach, how are you feeling tonight?
I am so excited to be here, me and Gene. Like you said, we're in the round of 8, and I don't think we can ask for a better venue to be doing it at. But we are a little bit later than we normally are. We're working on some new technology, debuting some new stuff today. So let's get to it, me and Gene. Before I forget, let's do this first.
Oh, yeah. Tell you what, it's about that time, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
we
sir.
got the cars on the grid. They're starting their engines. They're revving them up. And let's take a look at how qualifying ended up going. And first on the pole, Tony Iverson. He's going to start up front, the high side hustler, number 13 Toyota driver. On the first row with him, starting in second, Bobby Dodson, MC Motorsports. They're here in full power tonight. All 4 drivers for MC Motorsports. Eric Thornton, high side hustler teammate. He's going to be starting on the second row in third place. Alex Hillman, great start there for the DDI driver in the 08. Going to start fourth. Matt Novella, playoff driver, winner last week at Kentucky. He finds himself starting into 5th place. Colin Bollinger, second in points of the round of 8. Going to start in 6th. Richard Swingle, number 97 2X driver, going to start in 7th. Jonathan Casabier, 8. Jack Sanders, the number 25 2X driver, starting in 9th. And David Owens, 0 chill, Captain Commander himself, going to start in 10th. And that's the number 11 Toyota.
Yes, in 11th place, we got Steve Lewis. 12th place will belong to Kevin Kyle. Moving on to the rest of our field, we got, let's see here. I know this is a smaller field than usual, me and Gene, but I know it's not that small.
Hey, 21, baby. That's not bad.
Oh, that's not bad at all. 13th, we got Jay Stinson. 14th, Jay Bev, John Beverly. 15th, Joseph Volpis. 16th, Sean Walton, playoff driver right there. 17th, Jose Medina. 18th, Michael Mata. 19th, Jack Staval. 20th, Andrew Bollinger. And 21st, Hunter Hall. And if I'm not mistaken, oh, never mind. Me and Gene Bollinger is here. I'm just not used to seeing him qualify.
Yeah, unusual to see the Mo Power teammate captain there not qualifying, but he did choose to do so. And, hey, got him all the way up into 6th place, so good for him. Guys making their way around. Last week, we did make that elimination to cut it down to the 8 drivers. We're going to talk about that a little bit later during the race. Big thing you need to know, though, David Owens, Colin Bollinger, they're up ahead of most of these boys. After that, pretty tight when you look at the next couple of drivers. As we're going to see Tony Iverson, Kevin Kyle, Joe Volpis kind of hugging each other. Race cars up, and we are going green here. Tony Iverson off to a quick start. He's on that inside lane. He is being chased by Bobby Dodson as they are bringing it down the front stretch into turn number 1. Eric Thornton starting to make moves as well, but Tony Iverson is going to be in control as he's going to bring him out and through 4. Hey, it's 3 wide back there, Zach.
These guys are aggressive. Oh, no, that's a loose moment there from Dodson in the 32 there. Able to gather it up 3 wide now. The outside, a case of beer there. Going to make up that 3 wide moment there. A huge moment there for Bryson Dodson. Had that great qualifying effort, but that's all for nothing. Now, we have a wreck there. It's Matt Novella.
Oh, Novella getting a little bit loose. He keeps it down on the apron. They're going to stay green as Novella fades back, but he keeps it on the track. Hunter Hall, Andrew Bolander, and Duvall making their way past. Meanwhile, up front, Tony Iverson. He did lead that first lap. Eric Thornton behind him. High side hustler teammates trying to take early control. But Colin Bollinger right behind them. Colin, winner of many races this year. Usually we don't see him up front that early, Zach. It is unusual to see Colin up here. What do you think? Different mentality today?
Yeah, it's the round of 8, Mean Gene. There's stage points that pay out at the halfway point in this race, and that is not to be messed with. And man, if I'm someone else in this field, that would strike some fear in me to see Colin Bollinger qualifying like we know he's capable of, but rarely does. And here he is already in 3rd place here going on to lap 4. So Bollinger going to be up front all day today, Mean Gene. So that's going to be something that's going to be really fun to watch. But his teammate that we normally see kind of be in the same page with him, Bolander, not qualifying, still in 19th place right now.
That's right. Sean Walton and Andrew Bolander, his teammates, running in 18 and 19. Both of those guys are playoff drivers, and especially Walton needs to be aware of where he is. Sean Walton, 8 in points right now, but more importantly, way behind the cutoff line, 13 points behind that cutoff line. Bolander, 9 below that cutoff line. So both those Mo Power teammates, they're going to need to get moving if they're going to do something with it. Up front, though, starting to put in the paces, as we can see, single cars spread out pretty wide here throughout most of the drivers. And it's not until you get into about 6th place then all of a sudden you see it start to pack up. And that's where you can see playoff driver David Owens, playoff driver Kevin Kyle, really starting to pack it up tight. Joe Volpis also in that group as well. And hey, look, John Beverly as well. So good mix of playoff drivers and full-time drivers in that hot mess. Look at Kyle and Swingle side by side, as now they seem to be catching up on Case of Beer there.
Yeah, Case of Beer not getting the exit he needs, and this is such a momentum track, Mean Gene. And there you go, a 3-wide situation there. Case of Beer just getting left out to dry on the outside there as Swingle makes himself the meat in the sandwich, but still is able to clear him by the time they get to turn 1. And look at that, Mean Gene. I think Case of Beer may have just lost 6 spots, and that was just a big loss of momentum there out of 3 and 4. We actually have Case of Beer as one of our onboards here. Here we go. We'll take a look at Case of Beer and see what that is like for him. Oh, sorry, that's just 2 things of text here. Let's see if I can get the Case of Beer cam going. Takes a second. There he is. Yep. Case of Beer. You working that top side now, and that's a young. Oh man, Medina comes up high, and you can see that moment right there. You can see him trying to control that frustration. Choice words there from Jonathan Case of Beer.
Oh yeah, you see his lips move a little bit. Oh, and now look, you can see Duval and Richard Swingle making their way through there as well, or Jack Sanders, I should say. Who's in the cop car again? Who?
That is Sanders.
That is Sanders, the Colonel, season 2. Colonel Sanders, season 2 champion, right there making his way around the track. Up front, though, still Tony Iverson holding off the charge. Now, Tony's got to be thinking, though, last week, Zach, the guy led so many laps at Kentucky, and then just the strategy didn't work out for him. And then he ends up losing that race. A lot of disappointment for Iverson, and we've seen that a few times of him just getting caught out of the pit cycle. I actually spoke with Iverson's teammate, David Owens, about the race and his preparation. Ooh, a lot of hot stuff right there. And Owens said the same thing. I'm good on this track. I just don't want to see any kind of insanity. I love the track. I don't want any crazy caution screwing up my strategy. You know, he wants a steady race and no surprises. And I think that's what a lot of the top drivers are looking for right now, is steady race, green flag racing, no surprises. But green flag racing, that's going to affect the tires, Zach. This track loves to eat a tire, yeah?
Yeah, and keeping things simple here at Michigan are easier said than done. As you see right here, just so much room for racing. Really 3 or maybe even 4 lines that these drivers have to their disposal, Mean Gene, and they're using all of them right now. And like you said, this is going to be very much about it. These runs do stretch out to long green flag runs. It's going to come down to who saved their stuff and who didn't. I think this place is a little bit like Auto Club, where you will be rewarded for using the bottom when it's so tempting to use the top. Here we go now. This is a great camera angle to see that. Watch how you saw Mata there. Use the bottom, and that is going to be good for his tires, but look at that lack of momentum there, Mean Gene. There goes Volpis. Owens, I think, is going to be able to have a good run here going into 1 and 2. His Mata's going to stay committed to the bottom. There's going to be less wheel input there, but that may cost you a lot of track position to where it won't matter. So these guys are going to have to balance that. And like we always talk about, this first run is that best opportunity to kind of experiment and try new things so you can know what to do later in this race when it becomes winning time. But man, this group right here is crazy.
Yeah, this is a tight packed field right here. If I'm Alex Hillman, I'm glad I'm a little bit ahead of it. But you can sense the swarm beginning to close in on that 08 of Hillman. Yeah, fuel, we're looking at 30 laps, 35 laps if you push it. Green flag possibility. Tires, not so much. We're on lap 10 right now, so I imagine the tires are starting to change just a little bit going to expect to see the cars reacting to that. But Bobby Dodson, he don't care. He's going to go underneath Kevin Kyle, make the move there. And that pack, look at that, 3 wide back there for a moment while Steve Lewis is powering through side by side with Jax Duvall. This group is tight. Good driving so far here on lap 10. But I tell you, 3 more laps of this kind of driving, those tires are going to start to act a whole lot different.
Yeah, they really will. I think it's gonna catch up to these guys before they know it. I'm assuming around lap 15 is when we're gonna start to see guys getting tight on the exits of corners and loose on entry. This track can get unpredictable, Mean Gene, and the way you drove your run up into that point, whether it was you're using the top or the bottom, is gonna kind of dictate how your car feels, whether it be loose or tight. So that's gonna be fun to watch. But so far, so good for our top 3 guys. I mean, it's so hard to look away from this group right here. This action's unbelievable. These guys are going so hard. Look at them going all around the track, having a hard time even holding their lines. But up front, Jenna Iverson is cruising. And you know, me and Gene, I got to bring back Zach's stats next week, and I promise I will. Because I would go ahead and assume that Tony Iverson has led the most laps this season.
I think that's a good assumption. We've seen that guy lead so many laps, especially early on in a race. The other faster guys not wanting to qualify up front, and so that really gives Iverson that opportunity to get up front and lead those laps quick. Meanwhile, a little bit of excitement is the back there, as we saw Jose Medina almost get caught up in a little wreck. Owens with David Owens. Medina ends up saving it. But that was a harrowing moment there for the 54 Toyota driver.
Yeah, just like Case of Beer earlier in the race, you saw the 11 lose substantial track position there, falling all the way back to 15th place. And it really is, me and Gene, such a momentum track here. And you'll probably hear me say that 5 more times today. But man, if you mess up your corner exit here, you pay for it. You lose positions in a hurry. And big loose moment. Oh my goodness! And Kevin Kyle trying to gather it up. I don't think he's going to be able to, me and Gene.
No, he does. He gets a little tappy tap.
What a save by Kevin Kyle. Unbelievable move.
Yeah, Duvall and Kevin Kyle got in a little bit of contact with each other. And, you know, Kevin Kyle, I talked with him before the race, and he was like, keys for his crew were stay in my lane and don't make mistakes. And golly gee, I guess he was sharing a lane right there. But manages to hold on, keep it on the straight and narrow, falls to 17th. But he's in a big pack on a super speedway draft-like track. Wouldn't be surprised to see him catch up. Meanwhile, how about this? Sean Walton now starting to make moves, pushing up through the track. He's left behind his Mo-Power teammate Bolander, who's in 16th. Yeah, Mata's been fading this whole time. I've been watching him wiggle a lot as well. His tires definitely have leaned off. That's at number 16. You can see him outside the cop car getting pushed by David Owens. 16 is definitely somebody for us to keep an eye on as far as getting just a little bit loose. Fast movers, though. Jax Duvall up 12 spots. He's in that number 84 Ford, currently finds himself in 7th place. Also, Sean Walton has moved up to 12th, a 4-spot jump. Losers, I hate using that word, dropping Matt Novella 13 spots down to 18th position.
Keep your eye on this 16 car, Mean Gene. That thing went straight to the wall. There it is again, tapping the wall. That was a healthy hit the first time. I think, yeah, look at that front end damage. I think something is broken on that 16 car, Mean Gene, whether it be the toe link. You see him kind of hiccuping it up and down the stretch. You see that? I think he's trying to understand how it feels. Look at that. I'm not sure if that's a hardware or if that's a car issue, but that 16 is hurt.
Yeah, that's not good news either. His MC Motorsport teammate, Jonathan K. Sabir, currently 21st, way off the pace as well. So MC Motorsports, K. Sabir and Mata both taking hits. Could have been the setup of the car, more for a fast run. And here we are 16 laps into this thing, and we can see them fading backwards. Last lap there, 40-47. That's almost a second off for K. Sabir. Mata 41-27, and that is almost 2 seconds off that last lap.
Are these not the most unnatural movements you've ever seen from a wheel? I mean, Gene, look at this. This is bizarre.
That looks like me driving.
Looks like me driving when I'm like 15 beers deep. I don't know if he's having hardware issues. Look at that. First of all, does Michael Mata have the quickest hands on planet Earth, or is something wrong with that wheel? Oh my goodness. What is going on?
Okay, there is he on camera with us? Maybe he's having some kind of.
We almost had him on camera today, me and Gene, because I'd love to know. Because if that's what's going on in real life, his arms are broken. And look at this.
Or he's superhuman, and we need to report him to Homeland Security.
Yeah, that's some unnatural stuff going on in that race car.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up front, speaking of natural and unnatural, look at the gap close. Colin Bollinger finally getting by Eric Thornton to take over the second spot. And now he's got his eyes set on the 13 Ford of Tony Iverson. Thornton not going away, though. Thornton is going to stay there, help protect his teammate, maybe give a push if necessary. But Bollinger starting to close that gap in, and now he can smell the tailpipe of the Gravedigger 13 of Tony Iverson. Look at him going up high. He don't mind about wearing out those tires, does he?
Well, I think it's because he's done such a good job up to this point, Mean Gene. That's the blessing of saving tires, is if you've saved up to, if it's 35, excuse me, per run, and you've saved up to this point, then now you get to go where others don't, right? If the top was the line all along, and you've been disciplined enough and protected your track position enough using the bottom to still have that much life in the tires, that's what you do. You go straight to the top when no one else can anymore, and that's what I think Bollinger is doing right now. He was about half a second back not too long ago, Mean Gene. Now it's just 0.15 seconds, and not just that, this group of three is putting a beating on the rest of the field. Look at that delta all the way back to the 08 of Hillman in fourth place.
Yeah, they're putting down high 39-second times, 39.9. There's about 6-7 other guys putting up those laps, but the initial lap times of those top three cars so fast that they created that gap that you can see almost 5 seconds until you get to the 08 of Hillman, who's running in fourth. And also, hey, props out to Hillman right now. He has put on a heck of a race. He's kind of been in that middle zone by himself, which is great. No dirty air, and you get to choose your line. But still, Hillman putting on a really good show there for DDI as he's got that car in fourth place right now.
Yeah, Hillman got that VRN car just dialed in right now, doing a great job. Hillman definitely wants to have the best playoffs that he possibly can here. He's had a great season, got a win earlier this year, and wants to make the most of this season. So I'm going to be curious to see how much longer these guys want to stay out, Mean Gene. And also, just to touch on a couple of our playoff drivers real quick, we saw Matt Novella with that very, very early trouble. He has made a nice recovery all the way up to 15th place now, is Novella. Doing a good job recovering, trying to just not stop the bleeding the best he can. Case of Beer, no longer in the playoffs, but we saw him also with early incidents, and man, he is 28 seconds back now, Mean Gene. So clearly something happened there where Case of Beer also got some damage. So it'll be curious to see if he wants to use that fast repair or what's going on with that 6 car, because he is severely off the pace right now. And then one more playoff driver, the 11 of Owens, also doing a good job of going through the field after his initial little incident there. He fell all the way back down to 15th, and he is now fighting back in the top 10.
Yep, playoff drivers doing their best. Another playoff driver, Kevin Kyle, currently running in 17th after his little wiggle almost crash. But he's got his teammate Jack Sanders right ahead of him, so hopefully they'll get just a little bit of drafting out of that as they go around. But you're right, Mata and Case of Beer, both of those, the two slowest cars on the track right now. Hopefully they'll have an opportunity to come in and maybe hammer out whatever is causing those issues. Remember, we do get one fast repair here, but you'd prefer to use it under a caution. Right now, 23 laps. We've been green this whole time. This is MRL Broadcasting. Mean Gene Money here with Zach Panzarella as we bring you the first race in the round of 8, live from Michigan International Speedway. Colin Bollinger, he is in the lead right now as he has taken it over from Tony Iverson. Only a matter of time until we saw that 53 get back up front. Remember, he did lead the regular season in points. Look at Iverson fighting back, Zach.
Here
take him down
Iverson
on the inside.
Iverson,
that inside lane seems to work, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, but it's going to be a matter of the exit speed here. Let's see what Iverson's able to do with this. Here we go between Iverson and Bollinger, and one thing we've seen from Iverson is when he loses the lead, he never gives it up without a fight. He really, really wants to lead as many laps as he possibly can. Let's see if he tries to clear the 53. I don't think he's got the momentum, Mean Gene, so the thing to look at. Oh, he does! Look at that! Nice clear by the 13 of Iverson, and Iverson back to the lead. Bollinger gets to lead his lap, get his bonus point, but Iverson, he wants to keep control of this race. We've seen that all season from that 13 car.
You know, something I want to credit Iverson right there was when Bollinger got by him, Iverson immediately went into side draft mode, got as close to him as he could, trying to steal some of that pull and slow down the 53. Then when Iverson got underneath him, he pushed Colin up the track just a bit and quickly, as he had the speed and the position, cut down hard to get out of that side draft and allow that forward momentum to carry him. Crafty move right there by the 13 as he uses the door to make space and uses side draft to get in great position. Good move by Tony there.
Yep, there it is right there, exactly as you explained it, Mean Gene, just like you described it, and it really is textbook. Here is how Bollinger initially got past Iverson. Let's take a look at this here. I think it's going to be a run on the outside by Bollinger. Yeah, a big run. And what I'm curious about here is, did he use the outside? He's going to use the inside to make the pass on Iverson. So there we go, Mean Gene. That's answering the question I was curious about. The outside is where you get your runs. The inside is where you make your passes.
And speaking of crafty, I love how the 53 pinched. He pinched the heck out of Tony up against that wall to make sure that Tony couldn't get that turn, that angle coming in. Really good driving, clean driving, but also aggressive driving. Iverson now still in the lead. Meanwhile, Jose Medina now going to come down into the pits. The 2X team of Kevin Kyle and Jack Sanders, they were the first two cars to come in, so don't know if they're short pitting or not. But here on lap 27, probably a good idea. We are scheduled to go 100 laps. So anything over 25 in theory is going to break it up properly, right?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, that definitely is a short pit, so those guys are going to come out with more track position, but we're just going to see how big of a deal that is and how much that comes to bite them on the other end of that run towards the tail end of it. But man, Mean Gene, speaking of these runs going on and things changing, look at Eric Thornton. He is all over Bollinger. He almost made the pass that last corner through 3 and 4. Here he goes again through 1 and 2, trying to make the inside work. And while these guys are doing it, whether it be Iverson and Bollinger or Thornton and Bollinger, they're still gapping Hillman, Dodson, and Owens. It's up to 6.6 seconds now, Mean Gene. So these guys doing everything they have to do to keep control of this race. The last thing they want to see at any point today is a caution, because, man, this is the class of the field right here, the 13, 53, and the 1.
That's pretty much what they talked about before the race was let's keep this thing green and let the better drivers start to spread that out right now. And look at that. Finally, Owens gets up next to Bobby Dodson looking to take over that position. I don't know how much of an advantage it's going to be. David Owens is the points leader. He's got a good gap over the cutoff line as well, but still choosing that moment to zip by Dodson. Then Bobby Dodson, Jax Duvall, Jay Stinson now moved up into 8th place. Sean Walton and Andrew Bolander, the two Mo Power guys, now running 9th and 10th. We will be awarding points at the end of lap 50 for the stage. No caution, but we will give out points. And here we go. There's one of the top names, Eric Thornton, going to bring it down in the pits.
Did he make it? Let's take a look at this, Mean Gene. That was concerning entry right there. I don't think. Well, we're going to learn something new today, Mean Gene, aren't we? Because I have no idea.
I don't know. It was 50-50. It looked like it really was right in the middle.
Where the iRacing gods... Oh, and he misses his stall for good measure. So we'll see if the iRacing gods are smiling upon Eric Thornton or not today, because if not, that's going to be an unsafe entrance. That's either a drive-through. Here comes Iverson, though, Mean Gene.
Yep, Tony Iverson going to bring it down just as soon. Trying to stick with his teammate. I would not be surprised if we see David Owens bring it down right afterwards. Hunter Hall making the call as well on the radio. And look at Iverson. Owens now has brought it up next to Hillman. So Owens with a late charge right here. That could bode well for the number 11 later in this race. If we stay green, Owens is showing that he's got some long-term speed.
Yeah, the 11 doing a great job recovering from that earlier incident. Now really up to about 3rd or 4th place naturally. Especially, let's keep our eye on this one car. Mean Gene is going to come back down to the pits. Not this time, but here is Bollinger this time. Going to bring it down. That was a picture-perfect entry from Tony Iverson. So Bollinger's going to have to do a lot of the same. It was pretty aggressive from Iverson as well, as is that from Bollinger. Great job there. Looks like Owens is going to stay out and lead a lap here. Yes, he will. Take that bonus point for himself. It looks like Hillman's going to bring it in, as is Sean Walton. So some playoff drivers now bringing it into the bringing it into the pits now, Mean Gene. And here we go. There is our playoff outlook. Hillman no longer a playoff driver, but Sean Walton, our last guy into the round of 8 there.
Yeah, the biggest thing you got to look at is we're looking at the playoff situation is the gap. Let's look at the cut line. That's going to be Kevin Kyle. Kevin Kyle controlling that cut line. He is 2 1 point ahead of Joe Volpis, and only 2 points behind Kevin Kyle. Then you got a big drop. Novella 8 behind that cutoff. Bolander 9, Walton 13 behind that cutoff. So those lower guys really going to need to make something happen. Owens and Colin Bollinger got to feel good about where they are. But with 21 cars in this field, a bad day early, that could really drop you down some positions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Gene, you're really essentially one bad race away from all that evaporating and being pretty much back to zero. But, okay, so we speculated about Eric Thornton and not having the entry he needed. Whether or not he did, which he's still on the track, so he would have pit by now if he got black flag, so he clearly didn't. What he also did, Mean Gene, is he hopped over Bollinger and Iverson substantially. I'm talking, let's look at this now. 2 seconds over Bollinger and Iverson, as Bollinger and Iverson are going to be very close to one another. There they are side by side, but both of them, that one lap that Thornton came in early was enough to give Eric Thornton the lead of this race.
Yeah, 38.91, whereas the other boys were running almost a 40, so made up a good second right there. Second lap going to give you another second, so you could see how advantageous it is to short pit. Question is, though, come another 20 laps into this thing, how much more speed will you have as far as that tire breakdown goes? I think we're going to see a lot of riding the apron in both sets of turns, and then just kind of glide the car up. That's a perfect world, though. This side-by-side racing that we've seen kind of forces you elsewhere. But both fellas with a little bit different pit strategy, but still within 1 or 2 laps of each other. Don't know how big of a deal it is. So looking at that lead by Thornton, you got to think that the one has to be really pleased. I mean, he was on the edge of disaster, but it looks like it paid off.
Yeah, definitely, Mean Gene. I totally agree. And there we go with our Novella cam. Matt Novella coming in and out of the pits there, running a little bit different strategy than everybody else. I think explaining to his team right now that early incident kind of not giving him a choice. He has to do something different here. And I did have a camera name for Novella, and that man cave sign above his head right there is just making me like my name I had even more. I was thinking Novella's Nook. Do you like that?
Yeah.
There we go. So there we are.
I like the war room, because he's got that Giants on the back there, and you know how good the Giants are in the war room.
Then I also see that MRL Thursday Night Trophy that he beat Mead for. No hard feelings over that at all.
Hey, is that a pool table? I'm going to go over to Novella's house.
Hey, I have a pool table too, man. You actually had to sell it. I had the coolest pool table, man. All right, back to Eric Thornton. I mean, yeah, it was only a 1 lap difference too. It's so in terms of pit laps, 29 for Thornton, 30 for Iverson, and 31 for Bollinger. So freshest tires for Bollinger. But it's not mattered at this point in the run yet, Mean Gene, but it mattered a lot in the tail end, or else Thornton wouldn't have this lead, right? I mean, obviously Thornton also with an ultra-aggressive pit entry to the point where we
almost
sped. Exactly.
Yeah, look at pit lane time, almost a second over Tony Iverson. Bollinger, though, was a little bit quick, a second and a third. Wow. As far as going through there. So he really came in there like a bat out of hell. But pitting on 31.
Yep.
David Owens pitting on 32. Those boys got to short pit him and get a couple of faster laps before they came out. But right now, Eric Thornton in the lead, got a 1.4 second lead over Iverson. It's starting to shrink. Colin Bollinger, 1.6 seconds back. That also starting to shrink. So we can already see the 13 and the 53 starting to gain on Eric Thornton. But for all we know, Thornton's out there just putting in laps, saving tires.
Yeah, Thornton may have
be above those guys.
He may have his eyes on lap 50 right now and just trying to maintain until then. We know how good Thornton is at saving tires. He can definitely do that. Iverson and Bollinger, I think, kind of going for it now, being forced to race one another as well. And me and Gene, I can't stop looking at the left side of the screen in that delta. These are 38-second, 39-second laps. If we stay green, these guys are going to lap the majority of the field. They are so on their own island right now.
Yeah, making up. Can you imagine making up almost 0.6 of a second a lap?
Oh,
Speaking of going down a lap, Michael Mata and Jonathan Casabier now have fallen a lap down. Also, the 0-1 Ford of John Beverly has also fallen victim to the speed of Thornton, Iverson, and Bolander. Next would be Hunter Hall, but Hunter Hall 10 seconds back, and he's starting to catch up a little bit. So who knows? Hopefully Hunter Hall will stay on that lead lap, but he's going to need some help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He's 44. I'm sorry. He's 33 seconds back. So only a 4-second lead from those other boys.
And right behind them, that is Jonathan Casabir. He does have slightly fresher tires than all the cars in front of him, so maybe thinking about getting his lap back the hard way here. But even then, man, Gene, God, these guys are going to need a caution. Even then, they're going to need a lot of cautions, right? Like, these three guys, Eric Thornton, Tony Iverson, and Colin Bollinger, just putting on a show, and especially these two right here, the 13 and the 53. This has been a blast to watch. Let's go into the cockpit, actually, with Colin Bollinger and see what he's seeing.
Colin Bollinger running a 39.10 fastest car on the track last lap. Only car fast as him was his teammate Andrew Bolander, but Bolander back in 10th. But you can see right there in car, right on the back end of Tony Iverson. Let's look at the revs as he brings us in here.
And really, you can tell there as well, he's really prioritizing that clean air, right? I think maybe he would rather have the bottom, but if that's where Tony's going to go, he doesn't want to go there. And look at this. No real urgency to make the pass. Yeah, exactly. He's pushing him. Maybe it's about, let's get to Thornton, and then let's battle, right? What's the point?
Wheel, look at the little input. Look how little input he's putting in on that wheel.
That's insane, me and Jane. That's absolutely effing insane. That's such little wheel input. Let's go, let's not pick on anybody.
Let's look at Iverson. Yeah, can we look at Iverson and see what...
Let's get his wheel input. Let's get at the bottom as well. Not too much more, but certainly more. And also, that movement in the middle of the corner, that is what really can kill your tires.
Mm-hmm. Because at the beginning, I understand, because you're getting the car loose. You know, you do that quick jerk to get it loose to change the angle of entry. I took the iRacing tutorial. I know what they're doing there. But holding it there in the middle is just amazing. Here's another fast guy, Duval. He was a Final Four driver, came in second in the series championship here on this track in Michigan.
Look at this input. Look at the night and day difference here, me and Gene. That is so much more. Go to Hillman. Look at Hillman. And I'm not picking on these guys. This is more about how, I mean, I'd be further to the left than these guys are. This is far more about just how good those top three are right now.
Oh, this is going to be spicy. Pull out. Let's see what Walton is going to do here. Side by side.
Here we go.
Yeah. And Hillman, knowing who he's racing with, says, you go bye-bye. You're a playoff driver.
Ooh,
no, look, I'm going to go underneath the crossover by Hillman.
Hillman's saying, I want more. Hillman smells blood. That's side draft by Hillman. Not so much a side draft gone wrong there. As Hillman gets to the inside, he's going to try to make the move here, but it's just not gripping up the way he needs it to. I expect the 23 to try to wrap this corner. More on throttle time, less of a corner. Let's see if he has the run he needs. Yes, he does.
Wow, really good racing right there by these two guys. Walton managing to hold that momentum, and now Jack Duval taking advantage, and now using that momentum that he picked up on the draft. He's going to look down below, going to get himself a little bitty push from Chase Stinson behind him. But these four guys, they're putting it down right now, 39.54 for those guys. Not as fast as the boys in front ahead of them, but that group right there, definitely the second fastest group on the track as they are trying to chase down Thornton, Iverson, and Bolander. Thornton still maintaining that lead. It's 0.7 seconds now, but on lap 44, you know Eric has got to be happy about the tire wear as well as the gap. And now it looks like he might have a little bit more space. Thornton, I just can't believe he's putting down those laps all by himself, too.
It's pretty impressive. You're right. No draft help and really doing a great job. I'd be feeling really good about this situation in terms of stage points of Eric Thornton right now. Only 6 more laps you need to complete to take home those stage points. And he's done an amazing job maintaining that lead, and he probably still has a little bit left there. I'd expect these guys to go shorter than they went on that first run here and try to cut that second run in half here. And, man, if they knew what was on screen right now, they'd be very tempted to stay on track, me and Gene, because these guys are going for it. If we're going to have a caution, it's going to be right here. Not to mention how bad this is killing the lap times. These guys are putting down lap times a second slower than our leaders. It's not good because they're that much slower. It's just this battling. That just really, really punctures.
3 wide.
Yep, here we go.
3 wide.
It's going to be a big run for Walton on the outside here. He's going to split the middle all the way to the bottom. It's going to go Jax Duval. Man, this is some intense racing here.
Jax Duval was initially pushing Hillman and then cut it down low to go 3 wide. Hillman does get past Walton, and now they're 3 wide again as Walton is going to use the momentum of the outside. And look at that. Those tires are staggered perfect, and he's going to hold it on the outside. 3 wide racing here and Michigan International. Lap number 46.
Does Stinson send it for here, Mean Gene? He's getting these runs. These guys are holding each other up, and you know they're not making each other happy either, especially Hillman and Walton here. Definitely getting close every time you're in corner exit. And Stinson, he's getting these big runs, Mean Gene. We might end up 4 wide here soon, but this is some great action here. 3 wide for an entire lap there. Here we go.
Stinson was victimized at Kentucky in 2 different races, not his fault. So I would imagine he is not wanting to get caught up again in any kind of foolishness. So Walton and Hillman again. Duval fades back, and you got to wonder about the tires as well. These guys came down and pitted on lap 30, lap 31. So this is 16 laps of racing so far on these tires, and then those last 2 laps of 3 wide. So you got to imagine somebody's going to have to blink, and you hope it's not Chad, the flag man.
Oh, and here goes Iverson on the inside of his teammate, Eric Thornton. This is for the lead and essentially the stage. Only 2 going. Oh, my gosh. And look at Bollinger. He's going to take advantage of that.
53.
3 wide for the lead.
Again.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, 3 wide again. And look at Hunter Hall ahead of him. He's like, guys, please keep doing that. Please keep doing that. Eric Thornton, he's holding on. Look at that. Iverson peeking. Or Thornton holding on. Bollinger peeking down below. Iverson on the outside. No room. The Mo Power 53 all on his own. Thornton's going to lead lap 49. So next time around, there won't be a white, but 2 laps to go before we await stage points. Look at Iverson. He's like, it's my turn. Iverson. And I wonder about Thornton right there. That is his teammate not wanting to fight him. Ooh, no! Their turn.
No.
What a save.
He saves it. Unbelievable, Mean Gene.
But he brings it back on the track real slow. That is dangerous driving right there.
And look how big that lead is. He's still in 3rd.
Yep. All right, so Iverson now with the advantage after the contact between Iverson's teammate Eric Thornton and Colin Bollinger there.
That was a big moment there, Mean Gene, between 2 of the fastest cars in this race, and it also created quite a bit of separation. As we've said, this will be paying out stage points next time around, but it will not be bringing out a yellow flag. Thornton now 5 seconds behind Bollinger and Iverson after that little incident there. I think he would have rather had the caution had he not hit anything.
It's true. I think Thornton was just trying to get a little side draft there to keep up with him, but, it just didn't work out for him. Net code could have come into effect. But regardless, as we can see, Tony Iverson bringing it out of 4. He's now on that front stretch through the Geico restart zone, bringing it down, and boom, it's going to be Tony Iverson. He is going to take the stage win. We're going to keep going green here. We're halfway here in Michigan. Bollinger going to take points for 2nd, Thornton 3rd, Bobby Dodson 4. Sean Walton is going to take 5th. Alex Hillman gets those playoff points for 6th. Duval 7, Jay Stinson 8, Andrew Bolander going to take 9th. And that Mo Power guy definitely needs that. Jose Medina 10. And poor Joe Vulpes and Matt Novella on the outside looking in. That is 11 and 12. Other playoff drivers, you might be wondering where they are. Kevin Kyle, 16th place, back there looking on the outside. And then what is going on? David Owens, lap down in 20th.
Whoa. That had to have been something during the pits, whether it had been speeding or...
I'm showing him for 2 pit. Yeah, because I'm showing him for 2 pit stops. But that last pit time was a 15:02.
15:02. Huh.
So he must have come down. Well, you know what's about to happen?
Do you have
I'm going to do a big old rewind.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do a big old rewind.
Dodson gets in the wall hard.
Oh, he's still wrecking.
Oh, I think we're going to stay green again here, though, Mean Gene. Big crash there for Bryson Dodson. Not been that.
David Owens did bring it down on lap 48.
Okay. 48. Oh, so Owens trying something cute here.
Yeah.
Definitely undercutting everybody. All right. Keep our eye on that 11 car.
Yeah.
Hey.
So good for him.
I mean, when you're, 15 seconds back, you're not going to get it done on track, so might as well.
Yeah, especially the way we stayed green. We've had a couple of oh crap moments, but staying green out here today. Really good racing.
Well, these guys using the wall to get their car straightened out instead. Bryson Dodson's car. You can tell, Mean Gene, that thing is hurt.
Yeah, he's hurting. Little incident. Almost got up with Bobby, with Jack Duval, but managed to hold on Duval managed to keep it on the straight and narrow as well.
This will likely be the fast repair for Dodson as well.
These things hurt when you're green.
They really do, man, Gene. You gotta nip it in the bud right away. So here we go. Iverson making good progress here. Bollinger closing the gap a little bit, but Iverson did have to get around Hunter Hall. I think that may have slowed him down a little bit. So we'll see now, and we'll also see when he wants to pit. I'm assuming around lap 60. Keep this thing simple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because these boys pitted last time on 30, 31. So 60, 62. I don't know. Maybe do you see how far you can push it just in case there is a caution? Maybe you can stay out and make it a 3 pit stop situation. Who knows? We'll just have to see as it moves forward.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and you definitely want that gap on fuel as well, just in case there is something like an overtime restart, and you don't want to have just enough fuel to get to the end. You want to have a couple laps extra just in case. So we'll see how long Iverson wants to push it, Mean Gene, but so far so good, and green all the way around, and this field only getting more and more spread out.
Meanwhile, if you look at that second group led by Sean Walton, they are 1/10 of a second faster now than your leaders. Wow. So now that they have settled their business, one might say, Sean Walton leading that group, Alex Hillman behind him, Duval has settled in, Jay Stinson as well. So that group of 4 drivers now turning fast laps as well. They're about to come up and lap Hunter Hall, but Hunter holding his own. I'm sorry, John Beverly, but Beverly right now holding his own out there. Beverly is on them older tires as well. He's 25 laps into those tires.
Also really impressive the times this group is putting down, because they've been battling for about 30 laps now, just constantly side by side, 3 wide. Here we go again. This group of 4 just been going for it. So good for them.
Here comes Thornton. Once again, he's the first of the 3 to blink.
And you kind of got to
bring it in.
After that first incident he kind of has to be. And there's Dodson. Oh, man, me and Gene, I think Dodson may have already used that fast repair, actually. So it looks like he's actually getting it fixed now. Oh, rough day for the 32.
Yeah, it is. Here comes Kevin Kyle and Jack Sanders, the 2X Racing team. Going to bring it down and pit here on lap 56, which is about on course as far as them splitting it up. And, quickly going to get passed by the leaders. You're right about the speed of these leaders. Tony Iverson and those guys just 11 seconds ahead of that second group, the 22 seconds ahead of the third group, all the way up to almost lapping 12th back in a field of 21. So the times being put up by these fellows, very impressive. And we knew it was going to be a fast day. It was just a matter of, can we keep this thing green with no shenanigans? And that's what we've seen right now. 58 laps of green flag racing. Nothing out here except for speed by all the fellows. I really want to congratulate all the teams for what they've done. Couple of almost accidents, but they managed to keep it on that straight and narrow. And now sounds like the 54 is going to come down as well.
I'm sure we'll have more almost accidents here, me and Jane.
No, it's going to go green.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, almost accidents, right? But Duval and Walton getting into it here. Big contact there between Duval and Walton. Oh, I don't think this thing is over. Oh, I'm nervous here. If you're Iverson or Bollinger, don't pit yet, buddy. This thing is not over.
Better not. And I'll tell you what, I'm hearing the radio right now. They're both chipping. They're chipping away like it's a hockey game, and neither one of those guys are Gretzky's. It's a couple of enforcers out there. Yep. So, yeah, going to be interesting. Look at all that dirty air from those 2 fellas.
Big block from Duval, and you can tell how bad this is. You can see Hillman and Stinson kind of like, hey, you guys figure that out. We'll watch. And also, me and Gene, it's going to be a way bigger gap in terms of the lap differential for Thornton between the 2 other leaders, Iverson and Bollinger. Now, that was only 1 lap. 2 laps the first run. It's already up to 3, so that's going to be good for that 1 car of Thornton on the beginning of the run. We'll have to see how bad it comes to bite him. Is Iverson looking to pit right now, looks like? Yes, he is.
0.2 of a second slower because of that little battle between those guys. Looks like they've kind of settled it in. Duval, he is a fellow that'll just drive it straight, trying to go fast. Looks like he finally does go high. Probably just going to let Walton go by unless he chooses to door and wreck him right here.
Yeah, I don't know. Here, we'll find. We're about to find out here.
Well, come on, Walton. Quit playing games. You know. There we go. Oh, that rear end looks like it was trying to come out on that 84.
Oh, it's coming around.
Holds it tight.
Good save by Walton. He got ultra loose there.
Both guys, I mean, you figure their tires have got to be hot the way that they've been running early in this run, middle of the run, and now here late in this fuel run. And 23 is Sean Walton. He's had enough of this game. He's calling out the pit as well.
So there is Bollinger.
Smart move by the 23, I would think, right there.
I like that as well. And here comes Walton. Pretty aggressive pit entry, but gets it down in between the lines. So far, so good. Duvall going to inherit the lead of the race now with Hillman in second, Stinson in third. As Hillman and Stinson still side by side, battling this thing out. And like you said, Beverly doing a good job staying in front of those leaders, keeping himself only one lap down.
Here comes Andrew Bolander. Here comes Colin Bollinger. So all the Mo-Power teammates, all three playoff drivers choosing to pit here on lap 62.
Yep. See how busy the pits are getting here. Here comes Bollinger out of the pits. So we're about to see how Thornton, Bollinger, and Iverson, our top three, cycle out. And just as we predicted, there goes Eric Thornton to the lead over Bollinger and Iverson. There's Bollinger, and here comes Iverson. It's going to be close.
He's managed to make that work.
He has both times on that undercut, and we'll see how long it works out this time. It was right down to the wire for the stage win, Mean Gene.
Yeah, Thornton tried his best to hold off the charge of those guys, came up a little bit short, but it's not his job to win the stage. It's not his job to win the race as far as the teams goes. It's his job to put Tony Iverson or David Owens into that spot, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, absolutely, Mean Gene. And now that we've cycled through and we have a pretty straightforward race, let's crank it up for about 2 or 3 minutes, and maybe that will do the curse that I did last week, and we'll get the caution.
No wreck.
Yep, we'll see. Let's crank it up though. No luck. We're still green. No luck.
Andrew Bolander, though. Wow, what a long pit.
Oh, wow. Let's take a look at that. Oh, wow. 3 minutes. He's still in there. There he is. Oh, that's huge, Mean Gene.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. Everything looked good on his pit, and then he sat there for about 90 seconds before they put tires on it, and then he's sitting there even longer. So I'm really confused as to exactly what the strategy is as the 8 continues to sit there in the pit.
Yeah, very weird. And here comes Novella and Volpis springing into the pits. Novella, that was a long run, Mean Gene. That was about 34 laps that Mount Novella put on those tires there, trying to really just stop the bleeding any way you can from that lap 1 incident. That just goes to show how brutal this race has been, and that's what will happen when you have no cautions to help save you, right?
Well, now, and you wonder if there's a couple of cautions here toward the end of the race, maybe he could push those extra 5 or 6 laps to get to the end of this race without needing to come into the pit. Who knows?
I can see
that.
that
Exactly how that all turns out.
I can see that being, big for him. If we were to get that caution at the right time for him, that would certainly be a big moment for Matt Novella. Not to mention, he will have fresher tires than the rest of the field, so looks like he's going to come out soon. There he is. He's only in 10th. Granted, it's 12 seconds already. He's probably going to be closer to 14 or 15 by the time he's up to speed to someone like Duvall, but we'll have to see there, Mean Gene. But what's also sticking out to me, I'm sorry, look at the delta to 3rd place. What happened there?
Yeah, you could see that gap just wide open. Tony Iverson falling back, wondering if he's up to something with his tires. You knew Thornton, though, coming in 4 laps before the other 2 guys, was going to be able to get the speed on the short pit. Colin Bollinger only 0.4 of a second behind Thornton now, and then Iverson 2.5 back. We'll just see what Iverson can do. I tell you, if you're Colin Bollinger, though, you pitted on lap 61. You got to feel really good about the shape of your tires and the gap that he has to the leader. Kevin Kyle right behind Colin Bollinger. He would love to get back by these guys. Kevin Kyle currently the first car 1 lap down, trying to get back with his teammate Jack Sanders.
Yeah, Kevin Kyle definitely another one of our playoff drivers, right?
Yep.
Trying to stop the bleeding here. I mean, this is going to really mix things up in terms of the playoffs, me and Gene. One guy that we should mention, as we were speculating about his strategy, was the 11. He is up to 7th right now, so while, not the day that he wants, it's not going to do too much to his point situation. He is going to be on far older tires than the cars in front of him, or behind him, I'm sorry. So he will likely lose a few more positions with that 11 car. But I can't imagine him going any more than 10th place. So I'm really have my eye on the Bollanders, the Matt Novellas, the Vulpuses, and the Kevin Kyles. That cut line's about to get pretty hectic with the days these guys are suffering from right now.
Yeah, Sean Walton 4th, going to move up. Andrew Bollander sitting in the pits, cannot be happy. Meanwhile, on the track, Colin Bollinger did take the lead from Eric Thornton. Remember, he pitted back on lap 61, so only took him 10 or 11 laps to get by. Got to be happy for if you're in the 53 pit crew to see your guy get back in the lead this early as he is chasing a spot in the Final Four. This is the first race in the round of 8. Colin Bollinger right behind David Owens in points. Not worried about points today, though. He's just worried about wins. You get this win, you're into that championship at Las Vegas and don't even need to worry about what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. Start training now. Colin Bollinger pushing that lead as best he can now. Looks like half a second. And look who is right behind him. Kevin Kyle still chasing these boys. He's in that lucky dog position. He's got an 8-second lead over Steve Lewis, the next car a lap down. So if a caution comes out, Kyle would have that opportunity, and he needs it. Kevin Kyle is the cutoff line car. Only 2 spots behind Joe Vulpes, 3 spots behind Matt Novella. So Kyle would love to be on that lead lap, but as long as he can maintain this position and those other 2 fellas don't jump up, not a terrible day for Kevin Kyle, though terrible day indeed for Andrew Bollander, who remains in the pit. 8 minutes now for the 8 car. Gotta be wondering what is happening down there in that pit.
And the damage is done for Bollander. He's not going to get those positions back. He's finishing this race in 20th. In 20th. That is rough for Bollander. And what I'm looking at, too, in terms of our leaders, me and Gene, Iverson is catching Thornton, but he's not catching Bollinger. He is putting down slightly slower laps than Colin Bollinger is right now. Bollinger firmly in control of this race. I wonder if Iverson paying attention to that, maybe wants to consider backing it down soon, seeing if maybe he can find something on the tail end of this run if he doesn't, or to make sure he doesn't burn his stuff up now. And these two, me and Gene, Alex Hillman and Sean Walton, they just cannot get away from one another. Here they are again, side by side, in a full 17 seconds back from our leaders.
Yeah, it looks like David Owens is bringing it into the pit again. That should be his last pit of the day. So serious strategy going on by the number 11 East Coast Alliance driver as he is, or are they Gulf Coast in this league? Hell, I don't know.
High side hustlers.
High side hustler. God, look at that. Old zero chill bouncing around like a tennis ball. Meanwhile, Novella and Joe Volpus finding each other up there on the track as well. Racing continues. We're live here, lap 75, 26 laps to go before we crown a champion here in this first race of 3 in the round of 8. Jose Medina having a really nice day out there as well, currently running in 8th, right ahead of those 2 playoff drivers. And there it is. That got tight fast, didn't it?
Yeah, Medina doing what he has to do, and it did mean, Gene. I mean, remember that when Novella rejoined the track, running far longer than everybody else, he was about 3 seconds behind Medina, so it took him very little time to close that gap. But like we always say, catching them is one thing and passing is another, and you can see that. Novella losing his momentum on the bottom there and losing about a second to Jose Medina. Look at how bad that is. Lost a spot to Joe Volpus, now running in 10th place, was running in 9th before that. Him and Volpus have done a great job working together as Gulf Coast teammates. And minimizing the rough races they've had, but right here, trying to get past Medina, having a little bit of trouble. Medina grazing the wall there, and it looks like that's going to be enough for Volpus to make the pass on his fresher tires as well. Remember that Novella and Volpus did pit together.
Jay Stinson now going to bring it down into the pits.
Oh, wow.
So we're
Sanders
seeing people making those last pit stops now, and they're still taking tires. I'm looking at David Owens. He just did that. Last pit stop, 14.87 seconds in the pit. So he definitely took tires. So these guys willing to pit early, take tires, and get enough fuel to make it to the end. Lots of strategy going down by these crew chiefs.
You know what I mean, like, we don't have to, this isn't news to anybody, but I'm god awful at math. My dumbass thought that these guys can make it. They can't, and here's the proof right here. Here comes Eric Thornton. They had 40 laps from where they pit. I mean, I'm talking Bollinger and Iverson, not Thornton, who had 45. They can't make it. Iverson and Bollinger need fuel. So I'm going to assume here, Mean Gene, we got 22 to go. Let's keep our eyes on Thornton. I think he's going to take 2 or 0.
No, he's got to take them all.
Let's see.
Wear on this track is too great.
Or maybe 4. There's 2. Actually, I'm sorry. I think he's going to take 4. But if you're Bollinger and Iverson, I think you stretch this all the way to the end, right? To 5 to go, and you take a splash. You take a splash. A 3-second pit stop, or you pit now and you take 4. You got to make up your mind now. And here we go. Bollinger in the pits.
Yep.
So here we go.
Walton also coming in. Mo Power teammates going to make that stop.
This will be 4 tires for Bollinger, without a doubt. Mean Gene, if you are Bollinger or Iverson right now, or if you're Tony Iverson, are you considering stretching this to 5 to go and only taking a splash?
Sean Walton just took right sides only. I wonder if his Mo Power teammate is going to do the same.
Here comes Iverson this time around. Let's see if he comes down into the pits. If he doesn't, I think he's committing to it. It looks like he's going to bring it down this time, though. That 13 looks to be winding it down. He's on the bottom of the racetrack. Yes, here comes Tony Iverson. 1 extra time around the track. I think that's not going to be very beneficial for him. You're not going to get the tail end.
53 of Colin Bollinger did take 4 tires on that stop, so he took it all to make it toward the end. His teammate, though, taking the 2. That'll be risky, but not going to make up the 17 seconds that Walton was behind the leaders. Meanwhile, you still see Volpus and Novella out there doing battle.
They can make it. These 2 can make it.
Supposedly.
Oh, man. Okay, so it's 8 seconds.
Supposedly.
And the lap time difference right now is about a second. So they should catch them. But Novella and Volpus might end up with pretty good races out of this. There's no reason for them to pit. And Mean Gene, if we get a caution, oh my goodness, they're in the catbird seat.
Yeah, then they got those fresh tires.
Yep, there's none left for anybody else.
Fresh. And they'll be right on it.
Medina, I think, is also going to do that strategy that I was talking about maybe Iverson doing. And we'll have to see how that works out for Medina. Not to mention, we talked about Michael Motto very early in this race, and I just saw him on screen real quick. Look at this, Mean Gene. He's still dealing with the thing, I think. Let's see. How is he doing this?
Yeah, it's got to be a
wish we
visual
had-
glitch.
I really wish we had an in-car cam.
But the car is wiggling like mad, too, though. You can see the front end of it looks incredibly difficult to drive.
And he's slow as all hell, too, so something's wrong. Very interesting.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, but he's still pitted at the same as those other guys, so if he did need a repair, choosing not to do it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he would have done it, so he's choosing to stay out there. Right now, Joe Volpus being shown as your leader. Here comes Medina into the... Nope. Medina faked it. I guess he just got close.
I think Medina's having connection issues, Mean Gene. Oh, no.
Did he get Oculus?
Yeah, look. He's getting Oculus as we speak. Yeah, no. Give me a bleep noise.
Beep, beep.
Oh. That sucks. Medina's just hopping all around my my results right now, Mean Gene. Ugh.
Yep. That's very unfortunate. 54 having a really good day. And now he's blinked out. He's in the void. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he won't.
Oh, it's trying. It's trying. There it is. Well, okay. I'm gonna not stress myself out too much.
All right, up front though, Thornton and Colin Bowling are trying to catch the leaders now. Finally being shown ahead of Medina, but they are 5 seconds back.
Damn.
Oh, Medina's gonna pit. He's gonna pit. I don't know where he is.
Yeah,
and Thornton goes up high, touches the 53. They're side by side, coming through the Geico restart zone, about to come across the start finish line.
They get together, Mean Gene. Thornton and I'm sorry, and Bollinger get together. That was an extremely close call.
I mean, they've been doing that entire backstretch. They did it around 3 and 4. You saw them do it there. Finally, Thornton with that lead. Remember, Thornton is not there to win the race. Thornton, his job is to get his teammates up there, and that little incident really allowed Tony Iverson to start to close the gap just a little bit more. You can see the car of Jack Sanders in between them, but Tony Iverson now sneaking up behind Thornton and Bollinger. If Volpus and Novella can stretch this thing out, they are the ones in the control. But behind them, Thornton, Bollinger, and Iverson are the fellas that did take that third pit stop and definitely have fresh fuel and fresh tires to make it to the end. That gap is now 4.1 seconds. It's closing up. Looking at that last lap, that is a half a second a lap.
This is effectively the race for the win in these guys' mind right now, Mean Gene. And this battling has allowed Tony Iverson to catch up. He's there. Here we go. The three guys who have dominated this race all day. While they're still battling, they are still catching up to Volpus and Novella. They should be able to catch them and have enough time to make the pass, but they want to be in the front out of this group of three. They absolutely want to be the first one to get there. And here goes Iverson, the inside of Thornton.
53 of Bollinger trying to hold on the outside as Iverson is going to slip right ahead of his teammate. Remember, they have that third extra set of tires, but Iverson is on the newer ones. Iverson has one lap fresher tires. Underneath is going to come up. They're going to almost touch. Oh, I can hear some puckering. And look at that crossover. Look at the crossover. Let's see how close he gets to side draft. And he does. The 53 comes up. Going to push it. These two boys right here, they have been battling like this all day, getting close to each other, pushing each other closer to the apron, pushing each other closer to the wall. What's been the difference? The one car right behind them. Thornton has been there to be a thorn. Thornton, the thorn in the side of the 53. 53 trying to make that outside lane. Look how high Iverson takes it, trying to block the 53 up the track. There's some gamesmanship going on here, Zach.
They touch again, and it's going to give Thornton an opportunity. And these guys, I mean, that was not a good move by Iverson a couple laps ago to clear himself in front of Bollinger. Bollinger is not going to be happy about that. He was not clear, and he just drove up in front of him anyway. But now Eric Thornton, I think, hoping these guys could get a little bit messier so he can just drive on by them. That time, Iverson able to clear. Oh, but he gets loose on exit. It's going to be a big run. Iverson in the wall. Thornton insanely loose. Bollinger insanely loose. Thornton's going to split the middle. They're going to be 3 wide. Thornton's going to get the lead here. That's exactly what he wanted to see happen, Mean Gene. 1.8 seconds back now to Novella and Volpus. They're going to have a chance at this. Here goes Bollinger to the inside of Thornton, looking for the essentially lead this race back.
12 laps to go here as we see this battle continue. Bollinger on the inside. Now Iverson looks down below. The 53 blocks. They make contact. It pushes the 53 back up into the middle of the track. Thornton lets off and lets these two guys continue to battle. Right now, the gap between them and Vulpes and Novella, 1.4 seconds. Vulpes still leading this race. 11 laps to go. Can he make it on fuel? And can they hold off the rush of Iverson, Bollinger, and Thornton? Iverson now clearly in the lead. Bollinger trying to make the outside work. Him and Thornton touch again. Boy, Thornton, he knows his job, and that's to make sure that Iverson beats Colin Bollinger.
Bollinger has got to be frustrated at this point, me and Gene. He's just dealing with so much right now. Really just a pack of hornets all around him. Only a second now. You can see them in their windshield. It's only going to get spicier once they catch Vulpes and Novella. They're not going to want to give up the lead early, especially with how much they know these guys have used their stuff up with this battle. The tires, they're not going to be even, but they're not going to be as far off as they should be with these guys racing normally, because these guys have been going for it. Iverson's going to try to make as big of a gap as he can, and not to mention Case of Beer is there as well, me and Gene. A lap car further complicating things. He doesn't want to go further down in this race. Here we go. 10 to go. All on the line. All playoff drivers.
Case of Beer taking it high to get out of the way. Vulpes and Novella trying to work together. But here we go. Tony Iverson, he's going to peek down below. Making quick work of Novella, making quick work of Vulpes. He's going to bring the 53 of Colin Bollinger with him. The 53 stays low, touches the 13, gets a little draft. Look at Novella putting a move on Joe Vulpes. And now Novella on those older tires thinking he can make it happen. Here comes Thornton to shoot the gap between him and Vulpes. They almost touch inside. Colin Bollinger, he's got an advantage, but look at the run of Iverson.
Iverson and Bollinger are putting on an absolute show right now. This is unbelievable. They have made so much contact, and they've somehow kept it straight. 8 to go. Both these guys completely equal speed. It is anyone's game right now, and don't count out the one of Eric Thornton. Vulpes and Novella, like I said, they have an 11-second gap now, me and Gene, so I think this was still the right call. They should end up in 4th and 5th place together, so this is still great in terms of points. And who knows, we could get a caution. These two can't keep it together. But right now, Bollinger, it's going to be up to him. What does he want to do here? Does he want to bide his time until there's about 2 or 3 to go, or is he going to want to strike and take control of this race as soon as he can? Tony Iverson really wants to put a gap here and get away from that 53 of Colin Bollinger.
No way he's going to get away, though. Touches the wall. That lets Colin close the gap. Eric Thornton fades a little bit behind them. And here's the 53. He's back in the draft. He's going to look down low. He's going to push him up to the wall so he can't get the run he wants. The 53 of Bollinger, he's got the hot line. Outside momentum goes to Iverson. Side by side as they're bringing it down the stretch. And Iverson's momentum is going to hold him on the backstretch.
Watch for Bollinger to shove Iverson in this corner. He wants to get him out of sorts. I think Bollinger knows what he wants to do here. He's running the bottom better than Iverson is. He just needs to be side by side with Iverson entering the corner. He can't be behind him, me and Gene, or he needs to get him out of shape. Oh, Iverson, a little bit of a graze of the wall there, but not enough to kill his momentum at all. Bollinger, he really seems like he has this figured out, but it's also the draft, me and Gene. The draft's so important here. I think if Bollinger's able to make the move, Iverson will then be in the same situation that the 53 is, able to make moves using that draft, so it really is a matter of when do you want to make the move. It's almost like a super speedway race.
Eric Thornton now half a second behind. Maybe Colin won't have to worry about him. I'm thinking, Zach, we've already seen Tony hit the wall a couple of times and get loose. So that 13 car's tires might be worn out a little bit more. Even though they're 1 lap fresher, he has had to drive like a bat out of hell to find his way up into the lead. The 53 of Colin Bollinger now with just 6 laps to go. 5 as they cross the start-finish line. Inches away from the 13. It's Iverson and Bollinger in the lead, going through 1 into 2.
And here we go. Iverson still with about a 0.2 second lead over Bollinger. Bollinger doing what he has to do, which is just staying close to the 13 of Iverson, giving himself a chance at this thing. But man, how unbelievable is it that we have been through this race. No cautions at all at a track like Michigan. 3 green flag pit stops, and these guys have been so perfect, these top 3, that they still find each other within a second as they're about to take the start-finish line for only 4 to go. And it really seems like the latter of what we were just talking about, me and Gene. I think Bollinger buying his time right now. I think he knows the move is available to him, but he doesn't want to make it too early.
Meanwhile, big action in the back. Sean Walton and Alex Hillman battling for 6th place. Walton finally gets by Hillman after those two guys ran side by side for 2 laps. Alex Hillman finally said, just go on. I've had enough of you. You're a playoff driver, and I don't want to get caught up in any foolishness. Sean Walton, 6th place. Got to be happy where he is today. Up front, continuing that battle, though, Iverson, Bollinger, these two guys have been banging all day long, banging wheels, banging doors. And now at the end, I wonder, after this race, will they bang glasses in celebration or will they stare at each other across the room? Only 3 laps to go as Iverson continues to lead the 53 of Bollinger.
Only 3 to go, Mean Gene. You're seeing these runs that Bollinger is getting on the corner, or I'm sorry, on the exits or the ends of these straightaways. Look at this. That draft playing such a big role, but he just doesn't have the run he needs, so he's not close enough. If he gets too low, or I'm sorry, if he's not close enough, he could kill his run like we've seen so many times before from other drivers and end up a second behind Iverson. He needs to line this up perfectly. Can Bollinger do it? It's going to be 2 more to go as we cross the start-finish line one more time.
All they've got to do is make it around this track one more time, take that white, and it'll be official. All green flag racing here today. 21-man field continuing to do battle here live at Michigan International Speedway. Iverson wiggles. That gives 53 the chance to close the gap. He's in that draft now as they are going to go into 3 and 4. The 53 looks low. He's got the line, but look at Iverson send it.
He overdrove it.
He's trying to hold momentum. Oh, side by side. They're about to take the white flag. It's gonna be Iverson at the line, but we're side by side going into 1.
Here we go, side by side for the win and to advance to the championship race. These two are in the playoffs. They're in the round of 8. Whoever wins this race will be racing for a championship in just a couple of weeks' time. And they're side by side to make contact in the backstretch. Iverson, Bollinger, 1 more set of corners.
Here we go. They're going to bring it into 3. Both drivers banging. Look how high the 53 brings him. The 13 tries to come down. He's got momentum. 53 trying the side draft. They door each other one more time. Look how high the 53 brings him into the wall. They almost crash.
Oh!
Iverson says, I screw you. And it's Tony Iverson with the win. That's going to knock all the way down. Oh, and he still has not crossed the line. Bollinger gonna take 3rd. Iverson with the ultimate screw you move takes the checkered.
Oh. Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah. The officials may have something to say about that one, Mean Gene. We'll have to see. That was obviously intentional. I'm not gonna make.
Do a replay. Do a replay. Do it.
Let's look again. And, I mean, it was obvious what happened here, right? Let's just watch the whole white flag.
Oh, yeah. Colin took him all the way up into the wall. Colin banged him into the wall.
And honestly, Mean Gene, it's kind of fair game. It's a left hook. This is coming to the white flag, I believe. It is. Okay. So we're coming to the white flag here. And, I mean, the mistake happened when Tony Iverson botched 1 and 2 with 2 to go. So now here we go, side by side. This set of corners, pretty good. Bollinger doing what we talked about earlier, making Iverson enter high. Bollinger using Iverson up there down the backstretch. Big side drafts by the 53, and here is where it gets messy, Mean Gene.
Takes him right up into the wall. You can see as they go into the turn, Iverson picks the lane he wants. The 53 just plows up. Hits him again into the wall, says this is over, cuts down Iverson. No, it's not over. And now it's over. And the 13 is going to take the win as the 53 goes spinning across the start-finish line. Still a 3rd place finish. I've seen worse, but oh, man.
Yeah.
What a hell of a finish. MRL officials are going to have their hands full as they're going to get petitions and they're going to get letters after that exciting finish. Let's go ahead and go to the final results right now. This is unofficial, of course, as we will wait on a decision to be made by MRL officials, and it might not even be made tonight. Unofficially, your winner, Tony Iverson, his teammate from Highside Hustlers, Eric Thornton, going to be shown in second. Hell of a run by Matt Novella, taking third after that big win at Kentucky last week. Joe Volpis, he's 1 point out of the playoffs, but he will be in it after a fourth place finish. Colin Bollinger, he's going to finish fifth after going on the Spinneroonie. Sean Walton's going to take sixth. Good run by the Mo Power teammate as he 23 finds himself in that sixth place. Good run by Alex Hillman, getting the top 10, finishing in seventh. Jax Duval, eighth. David Owens, he tried some strategy, came up short, but that's a respectable ninth place finish. And Jay Stinson is going to finish off the top 10, driving to that 10th place finish in the number 2.
I mean, Gene, does your software have different finishers than what I'm showing?
I don't know. I'm looking at the iRacing.
Okay, because I have Thornton finishing like 16th. Or I'm sorry, 11th. Novella second. So well, I guess we'll have to see what happened there. Maybe some incident penalties. I don't know. But yeah, this is gonna be a really
that's
interesting
what
one for points.
your screen is agreeing with me.
Is it? Which one? The one that you're seeing?
Yeah, the one that you got up on the YouTube.
Okay, so that probably is the official results. That's what I assume. I can't imagine why Thornton would not be in second place. Great recovery from Novella and Volpis. That's one thing that sticks out to me. Two playoff drivers.
Yeah, those two boys, they did one less pit stop, managed to make it work, to get it to the end. Good for them. Going to finish third and fourth. Also, a lot of saves going on. We saw Kevin Kyle go for a ride that almost ended his day, and he managed to hold on to that thing. A couple of other drivers as well, almost finding cautions, but managing to keep it on the straight path and avoid that. Another big story, Andrew Bolander finishing in 20th spot. Painful finish for the number 8 Mo Power driver. We'll have to find out what happened to him. Let's do a couple of interviews. Of course, we're going to do the top 3. Anybody in particular you'd like to talk to? Here's Zach.
I mean, you know who we want to talk to.
I'd say Andrew Bolander. But you know, he's already in the trailer throwing beers back.
Get his twinsy.
No doubt.
Let's be dramatic.
Let's be dramatic. Who you want to talk to?
Let's get Bollinger. Let's hear both. Hey,
all right, I think we got him.
Colin Bollinger, we got you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Well, what happened there from your side?
Remember, we're trying to get monetized. All right, go ahead.
No, nothing much. I mean, me and Tony were already talking there for a little bit. I wasn't too mad at him. We were just racing for a win. I mean, and I told him not to be a jerk, but he shouldn't have never been in a spot to have a chance to win. But his teammate over there was trying to dump me off the straight over something that happened 55 laps before. So we'll let him do his thing, but we ain't going to give the one any slack the rest of the season. So he shouldn't expect to give any give.
Oh, wow. So more about the 1 than the 13.
Yep. Oh, we had a second and a half lead on Tony, and then we threw it away because he went up to side draft me and pretty much wiped me out on the front stretch almost. We both saved it, but we lost all of our time that we did have. Yeah, we did see a lot of action between you three, and man, what was it about you three, too? Class of the field, no one had anything for you guys. I don't know. I mean, I think there was a little bit of right behind us in the first 2 or 3 laps. They were really fighting hard, and I think some of them started hitting each other a little bit, and we kind of just lined up and drove it away. And then after that, I mean, we had a 3-car tandem pretty much the whole run. So once that happens, it's pretty much it was going to be hard for any of them to catch. And I think some of them also had alternative strategy. They were going to try maybe cut out a stop or something, but we were just too quick for that to really work. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Well, good run nonetheless. You end up with a great finish. Definitely one that not even as good as you deserved, but not the win you expected. So still got to be kind of points racing for these next 2 races, trying to race for that championship. What are your priorities for these next 2 races, and anyone you want to give a shout out to? Just win, honestly. I mean, that's the idea. Where are we at the next 2 weeks? I think one's Phoenix, and I don't know where we're at. Oh man, you guys gotta be on top of this. I know, now you make me look all unprofessional. All right, it's Nashville and Phoenix. Nashville next week, then Phoenix. Nashville. Yeah, just win. Win both of them. Win the third. We'll just win everything. That's the idea now. Win everything. I love it. We're kind of just over being nice at this point. We're gonna just go win everything. Well, I look forward to seeing it, and great run today, Colin. You and Tony put on a show.
for the last 20 laps there. That was a lot of fun to watch. So great job out there today, man.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, I told you, I knew that man had one job, and that job was to make sure that his teammate won. And you could hear the 53 right there talking about what Thornton was doing on that racetrack. Thornton and he almost got into it. Thornton bumped and saved it. And then later, the 53 getting into it with the 13. He needed his teammates. He's going to need Daniel Smith to show up next week. They need to figure out what went on with the 8 car and try to get him back up there to help him as well. The super speedway action won't be as intense, but there's still be a little bit of drafting next week in Nashville. So he's going to need his buddies to show up if he's going to think he's going to battle against these high side hustlers come next week. Wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like where his mentality is at, but it's always tough to have those rivalries this deep in the playoffs, right? To feel like you owe somebody one or anything like that, especially when that person's not racing for the same thing that you are. We talked about that a lot today, right? Eric Thornton not racing for playoff points, so he's got to be careful with that, but has a really fast race car underneath him.
You know, you're going for the win. They're going for the win. Things are going to happen. And at the end, it's still going to be interesting to see what kind of talk is going to go on with the MRL officials. Meanwhile, let's continue our interviews. Looks like Matt Novella is unofficially your third place finisher. So let's see if I can hunt down Matty. I imagine he's in that big old group of everybody showing each other replays. There's Matt Novella. And there we go. Matt Novella, are you there, bud?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
So let me think here. Something happened last week at Kentucky. You won. You win at Kentucky. You get a third place finish here today. I mean, there's got to be a lot of ecstasy in that 56 pit stall right now.
Yeah, man, the whole crew's excited. I mean, it didn't start out the way we wanted. I mean, hell of a qualifying effort from the 56 team. But just that first lap mishap just sent me back to last place. And yeah, strategy unfolded from there.
Yeah, talk about that. You and Joe Volpis deciding to make it. You pushed the first pit stop as far as you can. At what point did you know that was the way to go? Was it right after the wreck? Did you think this coming in? When did your team start discussing that as a strategy?
I'd say about maybe 10, 12 laps in, I saw how much fuel is left. I'm like, oh, it's right around 33, 34. I'm like, wait. Start doing math in my head, and I can do it in 2 stops. So then all of a sudden I hear Joe talking the same thing. I'm like, oh, he's on the same strategy. So, yeah.
Now, those 3 boys y'all were trying to beat today, Thornton, Iverson, and Bollinger, it's so fast. Were you and Volpis racing once the fuel conservation came into effect, or were y'all just trying to single file conserve and go as fast as you could?
Well, we were trying to conserve and be fast all at the same time. We both were sputtering going into turn 1 after taking the checker, so we were that close, both of us. So
now that means you did it perfect.
Yeah. So that's why I let Joe lead a little bit so I can try to save. He let me lead a little bit at the beginning, so I'm sure he was saving. Yeah, but then once those guys caught us, it was
But you still have to be thrilled, though. Third place finish, especially the way it would have gone had you two taken that extra pit stop the way everyone else did. No way you finish on the podium, Matt. Hell of a run. Great decision making, and really paid off in the end. Anybody you would like to give a shout out to here today?
Wife, kids, and the DDI crew.
Tell you what, short and sweet. Just like a cupcake. Matt Novello, the driver of the 56, going to take it home in third. Matty, we'll get those points updated and see where you are. You were right on the edge of catching up to that line where Kevin Kyle is. And after today's finish and Kyle's mediocre run, ought to see you up top, Matt. Great run, man. Go have a drink. Hug the kids. You deserve it.
Should have had you on camera the whole time, too, Matt. Wave bye to the camera. There we go. Oh, there's that cute ass face. There's that cute face. Great job today, man.
Baby face.
Very nice. Very nice. Novella Nook.
That was the
50. All right, guys.
Yeah, great run here by today, especially after last week, and he just continues to capitalize on those opportunities and making your own. That's strategy. I mean, him and Volpis, they really made their own fate today. So got to be happy.
Yeah, we had the lane at that point. So.
I'd take a third any day of the week, my friend.
Exactly.
True that.
All right, so let's take a peek. Now it's time to get spicy.
Yeah.
Looks like the next contestant on the How Hard Were You Willing to Block Collins show is going to be Eric Thornton. I'm going to take a look, see if I can find him. Uh-oh, he's hiding
my
him.
camera stream, by the way, the guys.
Oh, oops.
I'm looking.
Get him.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Take care, Maddie.
Kept getting
I think he hid.
Oh no.
I think Thornton dipped.
Wow.
I don't see him.
Messed up, me and Gene.
I don't know. I don't know where he went.
Well,
I don't know where he went.
I guess that gives us more time to talk to Tony, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's see what we can do here.
Take it away,
Hey,
Gene.
Tony Iverson, are you there, bud?
Yeah, you got me.
Hey, man, where's your teammate go? We were going to interview him. I see him running out the back door, and he's got looked like Sean Walton holding a wrench,
And-
chasing him. Looks like
Where'd
Colin.
Iverson go, Tony?
Yeah, Colin has a shovel. Daniel Smith has a pitchfork. One of the guys is holding a torch. What's happening down there?
We got hustlers trying to exit the track as soon as possible. That's all I know.
I tell you what, bud. Well, you might be exiting fast, but you know what else you did was you drove around that track really fast. You and Colin put on a show today. This was all green flag racing, but it got real close to not being green flag racing a few times, wouldn't you say?
Oh man, I saw a couple different incidents between my teammate in the one car and then the 53. And you know, I heard a couple whispers over the chat of different other things, but no, there's just a lot of green flag racing, and first time I've ever made the final four in any league I've been in, so I'm feeling pretty damn good right now.
Well, you were so close last year, first driver out. This year in, first guy in, got to be happy, well earned. Colin did mention that there was a little bit of chipping going on the radio. Most of his anger was towards the one. And I did mention during the broadcast that the one, you know, that was his job as your teammate, is to make sure that he could get the 11 or the 13 into that final four. I think he did it to the best of his ability. It stayed green. There was a couple of close incidents, but the incident I want to talk about, and I think you know where I'm going with this, is 3 and 4. You guys come around, Colin gets under you, leads you up close to the wall. How close to the wall did he take you?
Are you talking about the final lap?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, he got tight underneath, or he said he got tight, but I know I was getting loose when I would try to do what he was doing. But yeah, he said he got tight underneath, and he doored me. And I mean, I thought it was going to be more of like a wall scrape. Maybe we door each other a few more times and drag race it to the line. I had every intention of racing them clean through the entire 3 and 4 and to the line. You know, I really wanted it to be a clean race, and I felt good about being on the outside in that scenario. So I was like, let's just fucking run this and see what happens.
Whoa.
You know? And, oh, sorry. But yeah, when he you know, when coming out of 4, he got tight, doored me, I hit the wall, and then it kind of felt like I was suctioned to the wall and that he was suctioned to me. It felt like from my view, I don't know what it looked like on the outside, but it felt like he was like slamming me a couple times.
A few times.
Yeah, so when I finally got off the wall, I went to slam him back, and it just happened to be a lot more behind the rear tire than I initially realized. But at that point, I was like, you know, it's gonna look like an Austin Dillon move, but at the same time, like, we went into 3 and 4 even. So I think that's the biggest difference there. And I think, you know, we were both just trying to race it to the line, and the drag race was there to be had, but I think maybe he didn't, you know, he knew he wasn't in the preferred line in that moment and didn't mind letting it drive up a little bit to see if he could make something happen. And that's just happened to be what happened.
I think what
Yeah,
you know
those
what,
last
Gene,
few
you know what it
laps,
was. I think I know what it was. It was just a side draft gone
What?
wrong. Just a side draft gone wrong.
We were
Side
joking
draft
about that.
gone wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
That's all it
we
was.
saw the outside middle working a lot better as far as momentum goes. This far into a run, that inside lane just didn't have enough speed to pull off the slide job to come up and get in. So we figured he was going to need to side draft you to slow you down. And then, yeah, like you said, y'all went up, doors touched, and then you looked like you went into the wall a few times. And then y'all touched one more time, sending him spinning around. So I got to ask you this. If you're back in the back cave and the phone lights up and the commissioner's on the other line, not going to be shocked, not going to be surprised if you have an opportunity to talk to the MRL officials?
Oh, no, I think the action on the track kind of spoke for itself. I'm not really worried about that in this scenario. Yeah,
I would definitely have him watch the
racing
beginning
out
of the turn, right?
Yeah, I mean, the whole final lap,
Exactly.
the whole final lap really it was so fun. I mean, me and him were going at it. There was a point where I lit up my rear tire and couldn't get away, and it was awesome. Like, yeah, it was a fun race.
It was exciting. It was exciting to watch. And then look, this is the replay. You can't see it, but boy, can we.
Oh, we'll talk more about it. Tony's in order to pay his fine for action detrimental to the league with his language there. He's going to join us during Into the Mayhem, and we'll break this down more. So I will say this, Tony, and again, we'll break this down more, but this really reminded me a lot of Larson and Busch at Chicagoland years ago.
Busch.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Now that you say that, this was exactly like that.
Yeah, it's like once you do the thing, it's fair play.
Yeah, I mean, he even said that post race. He said, "Hey, I slammed him up into the wall a couple of times, and he came down and got me back." Like,
That's just
I
kind of the
think
way
everybody
it works.
that races kind of knows what happened right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at first it didn't seem as egregious, but then the more me and Gene looked at the replay, it was like, yeah, it's eye for an eye, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I did does not look. Like I said, I know it doesn't look good, but I also knew that. Yeah, I also know that I couldn't. It felt so dirty, like leaving that open lane and going for the drag race finish and then getting slammed into the wall. It kind of felt like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like that's the way it should have ended. So I did what I thought needed to be done.
No judgment here.
He didn't cuss you in the interview, so I think he kind of knew y'all were giving it back and forth. Updated points come in now. Tony, you are in. Congratulations, of course, with the win. We find Tony Iverson is the first driver to get that Willy Wonka golden ticket. And he will be racing for a championship at Las Vegas. Behind you, Colin Bollinger is still in second place. 6 points behind him, David Owens. And then fourth place, Joe Vulpes, as he jumps up ahead of Kevin Kyle. Matt Novella also is going to jump up ahead of Kevin. Tough day for Kevin. Going to need something special to happen to get back into it as he suddenly finds himself 4 points behind Novella on that cutoff line. Vulpes 8 above the line and Owens 13 above the line. Colin 19 above the line. Sean Walton, he moves up a spot, but still finds himself 15 behind. So he'll need something magic to happen. Andrew Bolander, rough day, almost in a must-win situation. Tony, congratulations. Anybody you want to give a shout out to here before you head out?
As always, the Hustlers. That was a interesting race we had there today. The whole league, for the amount of green that we saw today, I love that. It's not every race, and it seems this league's getting to the point where that's happening more and more, and it's just a testament to a lot of the same names are in here from when I started years ago, and everybody's just gotten so much better over time. The league is so much more competitive, and I think a race like today with the high speed and the drafting, there's like supposed to be cautions, and there wasn't. So huge shout out to the league for that one. That's awesome. But I want to give a shout out to Colin as well. He could have been any kind of way he wanted to be at the end of that race, and for him to kind of go with the racer's code a little bit, I think that says a lot about the kind of racer he is, and I hope he hope he's there next week and we can run it again. But yeah, and then you guys and the wife.
Never forget the number one crew chief, and that is the wife. Making it happen at the house. Because remember, they're one quick jerk away from you losing total power out of your rig. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Iverson, driver of the number 13 Ford, takes the win, punches his ticket, and we're going to see him at the championship in Las Vegas in just 3 short weeks. Tony, congratulations, and we'll see you a little bit later on Inside the Mayhem. Can't wait to chat with you a little bit more then, my friend.
Congrats,
Yeah, I
man.
look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you.
All right, there we go. And still no Eric Thornton. He's hiding. They're trying to sneak him out. I think I saw him getting in the trunk of a car.
I saw him go to his hauler, and he still had his helmet on, Mean Gene. Like, he went to his hauler with the helmet on. He's out of here.
Yeah. And then like 3 guys all came out wearing fire suits and helmets on at the same time.
Yeah,
so
but
you don't know which.
I think he had his dad up in front of the trailer, though, so he was fine.
Good call. Always bring my old man to the track. Exciting racing. As we said, we're going to be on Inside the Mayhem here in just a little while, probably about 15 minutes, and we're going to talk about what happened today, playoff ramifications, and we'll have Tony Iverson on as well to give us his insight as to what's going to happen as the playoffs move forward. He's part of that High Side Hustler team doing battle with the East Coast Alliance and the Mo Power Boys. So 3 teams all fighting for dominance. Multiple drivers still alive. Lots to talk about on Inside the Mayhem. That'll be live on the Vortex Racing Network in about 20 minutes. Join us then. Zach, any final thoughts we walk out of here?
I mean, what a great beginning to the round of 8. I like hearing that from Iverson in terms of just how big of a deal that is to stay green for 100 laps here at Michigan, Mean Gene. That's a huge deal, and that's nothing to lift your nose at. That's really impressive. I mean, we know this field can do it, but 21 cars, keeping it green, and I'm a sucker for races like that. I love the stories it can tell. I mean, like, the one that sticks out to me the most is Matt Novella having that early incident, and I think even in a caution race, Mean Gene, I still think you have a really, really hard time recovering from that, right? You have that in the back of your mind. You maybe use your fast repair, but when we get that full green flag race, it's just so pure, and I really enjoy racing like that. The finish was the finish, but like I said, and again, we're going to analyze this a lot further. I mean, that's pretty much all I care to break down and Inside the Mayhem is the last 5 or 6 laps of that race, because a lot happened there, Mean Gene, and the more I think about it, I'm a little bit regretful of what I said in the moment about the officials taking a look at it, because I hope they don't. I think Bollinger knew what he was doing when he sent it up to the wall. When you do that, you make that move, and you just hope to God that you clear him, right? And that he can't do what Iverson did. But we'll talk about this, too, about what would you do if you were in that situation. And we'll talk about that during Inside the Mayhem. But a fascinating finish, Mean Gene. And I think one that will probably carry over until we crown a champion, whether it be the 13 and the 53 or the 53 and the 1 having issues. Not to mention the 11 lingering in the background, the other member of that High Side Hustlers team. We'll also go deeper into the team standings during Inside the Mayhem, and we'll talk a little bit about that and why this might be going a little bit deeper than we're even talking about now, Mean Gene. But another amazing race. Really exciting to get the round of 8 started this way. Props to Tony Iverson. Huge congratulations to Tony Iverson. It blows my mind that this is his first Championship 4 appearance, with how much talent the guy has displayed in the year and a half that we've gotten to call his races. But super happy for him. Excited to watch him race for a championship, and only makes these next 2 races that much more interesting, knowing that 13 car is already locked in.
And I don't blame you for saying that the officials are going to take a look. I mean, think about NASCAR. At the end of a race, they weigh the car. Mm-hmm. They're not saying there's anything wrong with the car. They just inspect them. So I think at the end of every race, you are obligated to just take a little peek at it. Colin didn't sound like he was bringing up a big stink. If you were to believe the conversation from Tony, he kind of knew, he was digging, making his bed there on those last 2 laps. And we'll take another look at those and talk through that just a little bit later. For me, same thing. Green flags, exciting. Watching the guys save when they had to, and to keep it going green. Also, just looking at people making space for those around them, not just opening the door, but recognizing if you're faster this time, maybe I should let you go by, and maybe you'll let me go by next time I'm faster. Exciting racing, 21 cars making their way toward the end here today. Tony Iverson, though, going to walk away with the win, and he will be part of the Final Four in Las Vegas. Going to wrap it up here for now on behalf of myself, Mean Gene Money, Zach Panzarella, our sponsors, Chantilly Lace, DDI, and KK Woodworks, the boys back in the production truck. Always big thanks to our admins, Steve Fugay, Joe Volpus, John Beverly, David Owen, Zach Panzarella. It has been a pleasure, and we'll see you in about 20 minutes on the Vortex Racing Network. Join us for Inside the Mayhem with guest star race winner Tony Iverson. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, bottoms up and hammer down.